So it's now almost an hour and a half later. So the downloads typically take 10 to 15 minutes with a pinch of salt. I don't think I've ever had one that quick. During the time when it was running, the download there shows processing. And then when it's done and you've got to refresh, it doesn't happen automatically. But you do get an email to tell you. Just click download. And separately, you'll see the download box pop up. I'm going to save that to my desktop. And it's in a zip format, so I've just got to quickly go in, take the 2 files that are in there out, because remember, I deliberately decided that I wanted to have a separate base. And then with that done, I'm going to move over to a different piece of software, if I can find it. Lychee. So this is the free version of the Lychee slicer. That's why you can see level up at the top, but it has all the functionality we need. So I've got 2 files, 1 and 2. Just drag the first one over and drop. And excellent, that gave me the one I wanted, because I'm actually going to print these separately. Now, the nice thing about this particular miniature is that his feet are flat on the floor, which means you don't get any of the extra bits that seem to get added on. So if you've got someone who's got a foot at an angle, you get little bits connecting that foot to the floor that you have to go and remove. But this is nice and clean. I don't want to print him flat on the base, so I'm going to lift him up a bit. I also don't want him flat like that, because it's going to cause me all sorts of headaches with this stuff. So I'm going to rotate him to about there. What you can't see is my dog. It's windy outside and he's as neurotic as anything, and he's getting slightly agitated and wanting attention, aren't you? If you hear any scraping, it's him scraping at my hand. Now, you don't want this too high if you can avoid it, because the higher it is, the more complications you're going to have and the longer it's going to take. So that gives us a relatively good position. I'm going to angle him just a little more because I'm looking at his chin, and I really want that angled up slightly so I don't have any supports needing to go in that area. So flatten him a little more. One there. That's better. So that's done. No structural issues. If there are any, you just get a repair button down there. Oh, 1 second. That's better. So then we go to prepare. This is where you can get it to apply supports for you. I always start on light and generate automatic supports. So you've got your report. It's put in 13 supports. It didn't need to put in any island supports, and it's optimized them. So what an island support is if you find you've got a bit of this, and if you think when it prints, it starts on the bottom and lifts it. So if you have a bit that's just out in the middle of nowhere with nothing supporting it, that's an island. It still has some areas on here that I'm concerned might need a bit more support. And there are areas on here that I'm going to want to provide larger supports for. So I'm going to come to these two, and I'm just going to boost them both to medium, because it needs a bit more strength than everything being on light. And so let's put that one on medium as well. And this little connector can go to medium. This is what's going to bear the weight of the Mini. So if you don't have enough to actually support the weight, then you'll find you end up with a print of your structure but no Mini on the end of it. So we've got some areas along here I'm quite concerned about. So I'm going to go into light, click where I want my support, hold Alt, because that means I can control where it goes to, and just run one off there. Again, we're back down to light. I'm just going to put a couple along here because it's very flat. That seems fairly well supported. Use a different kind here, so I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to change it into a Mini support. And I'm going to do the same there. And now I've got a stronger support there. You do get large supports. Generally, you don't need them on a Mini this size. And the bigger they are, the less cleanly they're going to be removed. So let's put you on medium. Put you on medium. You on medium. See, the bits over here, they don't have a lot of weight to bear, but there will be more weight being bared by these lower ones. So they're on the bottom of the feet. They're going to be easy to clean up as a result, so I don't mind chucking in a couple of extra mediums just to boost the support. Now I'm also looking under here and I can see there's a large area there that has no support. Back to light. Now as you see, there's a problem with this one. So I'm going to delete it. And see if I can do that. Now what I'm going to do is just make it a Mini support. Maybe put two of them in. And that's the basis of our supports done. You'll notice these have got small supports at both ends. Some of these probably are bigger than they need to be. Oh, 1 second again. That's better. Sorry, but I have the dreaded vid. It's always worthwhile when you've got clusters of these, looking around them and just seeing if you can ease them up a bit. So that one might be better as a Mini. That's on the main support. And that's on the main support, so I'm going to leave that as it is. So, hopefully, actually I'm going to, these may not be needed, but one there. And one there. There we go. So, export, STL, and then because it's the free version, you've got a 20-second wait with adverts. Gives me a chance to bust the dog. And save. Okay, that one's done. So, new. Now, I'm not doing anything fancy with the base. I'm leaving it flat on there. What I'm going to do separately is go in, take the tentacles off so that I can print those separately to go onto things like the book. I will do that in Tinkercad. But for the moment, I just need that. So prepare, auto, select it, generate automatic supports. So lots of little supports because that's an awkward shape. That's fine. Export, STL, export file. Bust the dog. Who's borderline crawling up on my lap here, which, as he's a border collie greyhound cross and not particularly small, just very neurotic. Aren't you? Yeah, you're a good boy. Yeah. And then save that one. And that's us done in Lychee. Okay, come, pick up. No, he's not going to come up far enough to be seen. Are you? You dippy. So, we're finished with Lychee. And we need to switch to Photon Workshop. There are a number of reasons for this. One, Lychee currently doesn't support the D2 printer, so I need to save the STL and pull the STL in. It does create the supports far better than Photon Workshop does, though Photon Workshop will do it for you. And then, as I'm going to use separate materials, I'm only going to... Oh, wrong version. Okay, just got to remember where I saved it. File Explorer. I think that's the one I want. Yes, it is. So there we go. Settings. Resin is Craftsman DLP Grey. Basic exposure times. So let's save those. And create your slice file. Those files are what you create, and you get those settings when you're dialing in your printer to get your numbers correctly. That's on a separate video. and it runs off and slices it all. So printing that is going to take 6 hours, 38 minutes and 56 seconds. So I'll come back with another video. So we're back, and as you can see behind me, other hand, we have a printed miniature. We actually, since that point, have 3 printed miniatures, and this is a good number of days later. There were some problems with not having quite enough supports in some areas. So on this miniature, an area in the small of the back is missing. On the next one, after I put in some supports for that, it lost the right foot. And then finally, we got it right with